Sure. Hey, Dave Knight here at 123daytrade.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Today was Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. The long, you have one of those days that you learn something in a bad day. That was today. Today was the day that I saw something. I mean, I know this. I mean, I was long pretty much all day today, trying to get long, trying to get long, trying to get long. Why was I trying to get long? Well, I'm not stupid. I know that Syria conflict right now is causing, God, my freaking chair. The Syria conflict is causing some issues in trading. So it makes sense to go long in this. So, you know, I mean, if and buts were candy and nuts, I mean, there was no reason. I mean, you could have went long on Sunday night, right when the market opened, and stay long all through this week right now. There's no reason to even think about going. So it's like a three and a half, $4 move right now, just to go long from Sunday night to right now. There's no reason to pull out of it. But trying to get positioned in a long is my Achilles heel. Um, the closest I got to break even today was minus 21. But I learned a couple things along the way, and it's some things that I've seen. What and I told myself in this funded account I was going to specifically try to take on the longs. So, and I have. So on that side, I'm proud of myself for not just trading in my wheelhouse, which I probably should trade in my wheelhouse anyway in the funded account. But in one side, I'm proud that I'm trying to expand my knowledge by taking on the other side of the market where I struggle. So it doesn't. I guess why am I doing that? Life of me, I think to myself, am I screwing my funded account? Am I going to have to go back into the all this stuff all over again to get back to funded? It might happen. I'm within about $300 to overall. I think I finished at 11, about almost a little less than 1,200 down. So, and I got 1490 so I got like 300 I think I figured I have like $310. So 31 ticks roughly, depending upon where they would close that account out. I got my best trading strategy on tomorrow. My goal is to half the loss. So if tomorrow I can get half to two-thirds of the loss off and away and get that one trade win, pull out, 60, 70 ticks, whatever a 3P target is tomorrow, to knock that out, to just be happy with a 3P target on one contract tomorrow, catch that one trade win, be happy with a 3P target. If it's 70 ticks tomorrow, then I can physically only be down 300 or $400 coming into the rest of the week. And then using the knowledge that I've picked up along the way and I know some of y'all know how to do this, buying the dips. I'm not a huge fan of buying the dips, but I did see something that made some sense when I'm buying, if you do buy the dip. And it has a lot to do with where the market is trading at a particular point in time. If the market's trading between pivot point to R1 or pivot point to S1, buying the dip is not a very advantageous thing to do. You're going to lose more than win, in my humble opinion, trying to buy that dip. Fake outs work extremely well inside. Fake outs to the short work extremely well in between R1 to pivot and also from pivot to S1. So my fake out strategy works really good. High volume bar, when there's no high volume to speak of coming into the trading session, going in the direction of that. So if it's going up in the high volume prints and it's below that R1, then it makes sense to take the short. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing right. The problem that I'm running into right now is I'm caught in an up move trying to make money in my biggest weakness that I have. Instead of just, as I wrote down on my board today, I said patience is my best friend and impatience is my worst enemy. I I cleared out some of my stuff over there and moved things around and I threw some things around today. And I raced my board. And what I did is I wrote down what works, what might work, and sign of change in direction. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe if you can screen print that for yourself, you might be able to see it. But I'll go over what I wrote on the board. So I did change my board up a little bit. Um, and honestly, my growth comes from this stuff that happens to me as a day trader, and especially my growth because I know my biggest weakness right now and how I've not tackled on the long side of a market. And I mean, it's caused me a lot of grief. And it's like, what am I? And I tried long several different times, but I would go long like my 1, 2, 3, and I get long and the market goes straight on back down. It just, you can't trade that long the way that I want to trade it. Um, and some of y'all have hinted to that before. Why don't you buy the dip? Why don't you do this? And I don't want to have 1,001 strategies in my toolbox to handle each different thing. But I'm finally told myself, as officially today, that I've got to handle the long different than I handle the short on a normal trading day. So that's where I am in my thinking. For better or for worse, that's where I am. So what I wrote down, what works? CL pit strategy, so my inventory strategy, that works. Pivot point to S1, that's my sweet spot. Fake outs in a down move, that works really good for me. High volume spikes in direction of the short side trade, that works really good for me. Continuation red high volume spikes in direction of trend to short it. So a red bar in the down move and continuing the short side of that trade. That works really good for me. So there's a lot of good things that are working for me. So unfortunately, if I do fail out of this funded account, I think that I've put one more piece of the puzzle together. And maybe I lack like 3 pieces right now, and I'm putting in one of those missing 3 pieces right now. How to handle trading an up move that you know is going up, that you know, well, not know, but you have a good indication because of all the shit that's going on in the world that the market's going to go up. And it makes complete sense that all this Syria conflict, Russia and U.S. and the frickin' deep state and all the conspiracy theories that go around all this stuff. I mean, should be people in the know should be making a killing right now. George Soros has probably made so much frickin' money off these moves by telling somebody what to do that the guy, why is he still living? But me, on the other hand, and to think about it, and I'm going to go off subject for a minute. Do you know that George Soros and Jim Rogers worked together at one point in the Quantum Fund, I think it was called? So I don't even know if they speak anymore. You got Jim Rogers that's living outside of America, and George Soros, only God knows why he's still living, but he still lives. And both of these guys just complete polar opposites of each other. Anyway. What might work? Buying dips in an up move, especially when the market's R1 or higher, like a fake out but go long. So how do I apply that fake out strategy on a long side trade? So what I've been watching and noticing is that where I see my entry on the long to get up there, so 1, 2, 3, and then taking that long entry, if it doesn't shoot out right away, it goes right back and hits me at my stop loss, whether it's 8, 10, 12, it doesn't really matter what that target is, it always hits it. So it either goes up right away or it just knocks me out. So if I'm going to trade that particular signal, then I've got to, it either breaks through right away or it doesn't. And then I've got to really have a really tight stop on that particular setup if I want to trade that. Because more times than not, if I try that long on and if it doesn't break out right away, it just goes straight to my hit my point. So whether that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, doesn't matter what the tick stop loss on the other side of it, it just pretty much almost every time goes and hits it, and then it goes its merry way. What I noticed though is that down move, there's a red high volume spike that goes against the grain in the blues. The blues start forming because the stops getting hit, and then there's a buy that comes in on that down move, and that right there is a better place with a really tight stop to take on that long and an up move that's above the R1 level. So that's what that's where I am right now. So I'm, it's formulating. It's finally coming together. It's like, I'm like 100% certain on the short side moves, how I want to attack them. When there's a down move, the other part of this is I got to get my ass out of bed. When I see the markets trending up, I mean, I've got fear in the back of my mind to even want to get out of bed, because I look at the markets at usually 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern time every morning, and if I see the markets trending up, and then I can get kind of I kind of beat myself up a little bit. I can defeat myself before I even sit down in this chair. So that's the other side of the coin that I have to get better at. I've got to defeat the defeatist attitude that I have when the market's in an up move because of my weakness. My weakness right now is that I just don't have, I can't seem to the same things that I get money and how I make money on the short side do not work on the long side of the market. And that, in a nutshell, is my biggest issue that I got right now. That's where I am. That's my talk for the day. I'm out of here. So tomorrow's do or die. I'm going to either half my loss tomorrow, or I'm going down in flames and back into the frickin' combine. So it's in God's hands at this point. So hopefully the market will be favorable for my strategy, and I will pull out, 60, 70 ticks out tomorrow in one trade and live to fight another day and apply some of the logic that I've put myself through right now, the pain. There's a growing experience in pain, correct? And that growing experience that you have at first, what I can tell you is I shied away from any long setups at all. So that's been like over a year, 2 years, I think, at least a year that I shied away from any long setup at all. Now I'm at least taking them. So now I'm starting to see, all right, what makes sense in a long move? What doesn't make sense, what makes sense, and that's where I am right now. And there's a lot of things that I've resolved in my head of how I'm handling it. So, all right, that's it. I'm done bitching. So I hope you had a better day than me. God bless. Take care. I'll see you in the next video I put together. Bye for now.